This is Maury of Yeshoro, bringing you the greatest lesson that you will ever hear. The starting point. If you're going to teach people how to tell time, you have to know when it started, don't you? Here it is here. March 18th, 2018. The sun and the moon were in conjunction. At this time, the sun had 354 days, and the moon had 354 days. And the sun went forth first. You will find the parallel in Genesis chapter 1, also in Enoch chapter 72. In Genesis chapter 1, the angels, the Alayam, the messengers, came down from the heaven. The sun was turned off. The earth was void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Alayam said, "Turn the lights on." And the light came on. Which one? The sun. The sun is the great luminary. All light, all time is stored on the sun. So the sun went forth first. It traversed across the sky for a full 12 hours. When it dipped below the horizon in the west, look what happened. Look up top there at the moons. Hidash. The moon had become visible in the western sky. This event is duplicated every single month that the sun and the moon would go into conjunction, and the sun would go forth a full 12 hours before the moon shows up. 12 months. 12 hours per month equals 6 days. Then the Alayam, the leaders and the heads of the thousands who are over all the creation and over all the stars, add the intercalary days. And the moon will move away from the sun in the amount of 10 days. You'll find the same story even in the book of Enoch. Now, everyone keeps telling you about an equinox. Let me teach you about that. Wikipedia. Here's the equinox. A solar equinox is a moment in time when the sun crosses the Earth's equator, which is to say, it appears directly above the equator, rather than north or south of the equator. On the day of the equinox, the sun appears to rise due east and set due west. This occurs twice each year around the 20th of March and the 23rd of September. Did you see what they said? Around. Why did they say around? When the sun comes from the north, it comes down to the east. It comes across the earth, and it goes to the west. It takes 2 days for the sun to come and be directly above the equator. When that occurs, they say it is the equinox. Is that biblical? Not at all. It doesn't appear in the book at all. It's created by the Gentiles. Look at the chart there. See March 2019? They're going to give you the time of the equinox. What does an equinox deal with? The sun, correct? Okay. Look at the time of the equinox, 2158. Military time. What time would that be? 10 p.m. So you thought that this equinox that they created was sunrise? It is not. 10 p.m. is 10 minutes before 12 midnight. 2 hours before 12 midnight. Come down to 2024. See, it says 0307. That's 3 a.m. in the morning. What time is sunrise? 6 or 7 o'clock. The equinox is not based on sunrise. The equinox is only used for their calculations. They wait 2 days for the sun to come down to the equator before they say equinox. For the same reason, this is also the time when the sun rises for an observer at one of the Earth's rotational poles. We're observers, speaking about us, and sets at the other, for a brief period lasting approximately 4 days. Both North Pole and South Poles are in daylight. Do you see what an equinox is? They wait for the sun 2 days to come down to the equator. Once that occurs, it is equal day on the North Pole and the South Pole. For example, in 2021, sunrise on the North Pole is the 18th of March. We're not speaking of an equinox. We're speaking of the first day of the solar year, the 18th of March. The Gentiles fix their day to the 20th of March. Then they say equinox. And sunset on the South Pole is the 22nd of March. Also, in 2021, sunrise on the South Pole is 20 September, and sunset on the North Pole is 24 September. So we've established that sunrise, the celestial event, the first day of the solar year, is the 18th of March. The equinox is something different. They wait 2 days for it to come down to the equator, and then they say equinox. Here we have an AI overview. Why the lengths of day and night aren't equal on an equinox. An equinox is a day when the day and night are almost equal in length. Hanuk says, sunrise is equal day and equal night, occurring twice a year when the Earth's axis is tilted towards nor away from the sun, resulting in roughly equal amounts of daylight and darkness across the globe. I cannot verify a tilt. I know nothing of it. I did not find it in the book of Hanuk. The word equinox itself comes from the Latin words meaning equal night. So when you're saying equinox, you're totally off. You're just using Gentile speech. This is what the Romans created. Okay? So we've established that sunrise, the celestial event, the first day of the solar year, is at March 18th. The 17th would be where the 364th day is from the prior year. The Aliyam, the angels, the watchers, the messengers, the leaders and the heads of the thousands, place the intercalary day right there on the 17th. And that would be 364 days. Then the 18th would be day 1. The sun and the moon were in conjunction. The sun went forth 12 hours. It traversed across the sky. Hadash showed up in the evening. Look up top. What is this that we're looking at? The first new moon after sunrise. Note, if it does not happen on the same day, it is fictitious and an illusion. It has to happen on the exact same day. The first day of the solar year, the first day of the lunar year. See how perfect Yah's time is? Then men come in and destroy it. Okay? So then they say the equinox is on the 20th. Look on Pope Gregory's calendar on the bottom. They say it's on the 20th. They waited 2 days after the celestial event. Then Pope Gregory's calendar begins its year on the 21st. How many days is that away from the celestial event? 3. Pope Gregory's calendar is a lie. If you're on Pope Gregory's calendar, you're on the calendar of the Gentiles. If you're looking for an equinox, you're looking for a fictitious day and time created by the Gentiles. It does not work in the book of Hanuk. You'll never find equinox in the book of Hanuk, but you will find sunrise. So on this day, before the sun went forth, the sun had 354 days, and the moon had 354 days. In 2019, the moon had moved away from the sun in the amount of 10 days. Look on the calendar. See, day 8 is New Moon's Day. We spotted the moon March 7th in the evening. Sunrise March 8th. And in the evening of the 8th was the end of the day. How does a day work according to the moon? From evening to evening, which makes March 8th, New Moon's Day. So we count from there. Count to 17. 10 days. The moon had moved away from the sun in the amount of 10 days. You'll find this in the book of Jubilees. They will see this event, that the moon came out 10 days too soon, 10 days before sunrise. And it's disturbing to them because it's beginning to move away from the sun. In 3 years, it would have moved back 30 days. It would be someplace in the month that they call February, in the winter month. So what they say is that we have to adjust the calendar and bring the moon back to an equinox on the 20th of this calendar. Let me ask you a question. Them adjusting a calendar, bringing a moon back to an equinox, back to a fictitious time on Pope Gregory's calendar. Does that change the rotations of the sun, the moon, and the stars in the heavens? We're just thinking rationally. Go tell a psychiatrist that you're bringing the moon back to an equinox. And he'll ask you, what? How are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to do it on paper. Do you believe that you have changed time by doing it, he may ask? And if you say yes, he's going to give you some sort of medication because he knows that you're in a delusion. If you can't go up in the heavens and change the rotation of the sun, the moon, and the stars, then your action is futile. Yah's time is written on the tablets in heaven. It cannot be altered by men, especially on paper. What's not in the book? Okay. A sundial. I've gone through massive amounts of text looking for the way that they would find Yah's feast. Sundial has not found any place to find the feast of Yahuwah. Nowhere. I'm just saving you some time. Number 2, first new moon after the equinox. It's not found any place in the book to find Yahuwah's feast. No place. But the first new moon after sunrise is found in the book. Guess what you can locate by finding the first new moon on the same day after sunrise? The path of years. And all the children of Yeshua will forget and will not find the path of years. Why? Too busy following the feast, the calculations of the Gentiles. What would we forget? The new moons, the Shabbats, the feast, and the Jubilees. All because you decided to follow equations that are not in the book. Look at number 3. This is the delusional one, the 13th month edition. You can't change anything in the heavens by putting it on paper. Think, please, people. Will Yah come to your time? Okay, you adjusted the calendar. You used the sundial. You follow the first new moon after the equinox. All of these equations are not in his time. Is he going to come and make the atonement for you on this day? Will he honor your feast? If you think so, you need medication. Why would he follow you? You have to follow him. Now look at what's in the book. Number 4, Hidash. It's the only thing in the book to find Yah's feast. I've been showing you every video. Anytime it says month, you look under it, it's Hidash. You're only to follow the display. The sun is a projector. All of the time is on the projector. But you can't see the time until it's transferred to the display. And all of the time you can count on the display. You understand? And these Gentiles have fooled the whole world. Okay, if it's not in the book, why do you do it? I'm just asking a question, because you're not to go beyond what is written. It's not in the book. There's no statute whatsoever for 1, 2, or 3. The only statute in the book is for 4, Hidash. It's clear. Is it transgression if you do 1, 2, and 3? You better believe it. If you teach it, you and everyone who follows you are going to the lake of fire. Join with us on this Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. January 15th in the evening on Pope Gregory's calendar, which translates to the 14th day in the evening from the lunar event. Shalom.